Have you had like a good morning? The kids are off at camp. What kind of
They're camping. They're camping.
Awesome.
Yeah.
They camped before?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they have. They've done this for like several summers. I grew up camping with my dad.
You did? You
Yeah.
grew up camping?
Yeah. Yeah.
I grew up scared of camping.
I mean, I grew up in Vermont until I was 10, so I was like a lot of outside. And my dad,
How
that's
do you
his
like the
happy
difference
place.
between Vermont and here?
Vermont has a big place in my heart still. It's still like, I still go back. Well, yeah, we don't have family there. I still have friends from when I was really little there. We have other friends. And, I think when we moved, my sister has Down syndrome. So we moved to Pennsylvania for a school. So our family narrative was always like, we're moving to Pennsylvania, but really we love Vermont. No. But I've been in Philly for, how long now? Yeah, 14 years now. 15 years now. I mean, we moved to like out near Valley Forge.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, but it is still a big difference. The city.
It's a big difference.
Yeah, versus Vermont.
Yeah. I mean, it's peaceful. It's gorgeous, but it's like, it's really rural. Yeah. It's very white. My husband's West African and my website, but yeah, and so there's parts of him that would like to be in the country still, but yeah, it's, we have West African community. He can go to the mosque, and my son was actually at sleepaway camp in Vermont this year. And he even acknowledged, he came back, he's like, it's like such a stark difference. He's like, everybody's black in our neighborhood, and they're not. But she just like really noticed. Yeah. So multiple, yeah. I'm Katie. I'm a public health nurse, maternal child public health nurse, and lactation consultant, IBCLC. Crescent Lactation Care, Crescent, like the crescent moon, which is very hard to spell. And, I have a website, crescentlactationcare.com, and Instagram, Crescent Lactation Care, Facebook, Crescent Lactation Care. I mean, Nurse Family Partnership that's the nonprofit that I work for and have worked for over 10 years. I just hit my 10-year anniversary. Yeah. I went to nursing school at Penn after going to social work school in North Carolina first. So
you went here?
Yeah.
And it's move-in day. Did you see?
I saw that. Yeah. And there was parking. I was like, I actually got parking. Yeah. So I didn't really know I wanted to become a nurse. I went to social work school for social work first. I knew I wanted to do some kind of
to help people.
People stuff. And then when I was at Penn, I think I thought I was going to go on to be a nurse practitioner, or midwife. I was born at home, and my mom's growing up in Vermont. My best friend's mom was my mom's midwife for my younger sister. Anyways, I've been around midwifery and home birth my whole life, and lactation, but never really gave it a second thought because that was just kind of, it worked out for my mom and it worked out for people around me. And so it was just, the norm. So I didn't think I wanted to go to midwifery school, but then I was friends, pretty much my whole friend group was midwives at Penn. And then I think I kind of knew the nitty gritty of what it was to be a midwife and how hard it is. And anyway, that wasn't my path necessarily. I thought many people would ask me, oh, so you're a midwife or you're becoming a midwife or whatever, but that's not. But when I was at Penn, I think it was in our community class or something, someone from the Nurse Family Partnership came and talked about the program, and I was like, that's why that's what I want to do. Like the main thrust of Nurse Family Partnership is parent-child bonding and, supporting life course development of the parent and parent-child, but attachment, Yes. I got a job on Jefferson Oncology. So I worked in oncology for 4 years. Ooh. I really liked the end of life hospice kind of social emotional aspect of it. Person. Yeah. So I'm drawn to that. I think lots of people in nursing school are like, I'm going to be an oncology nurse. And that definitely wasn't my draw, but I could totally see doing hospice work. And I've met a number of birth workers who they're drawn. It's because you're drawn to both ends of the spectrum of this. But it's funny. It's so funny. I never actually thought about that. I do this weaning support group now, and grief work is that's basically what you're doing, because you're grieving the end of something, no matter what is going on with the weaning journey or whatever. So that's jumping years ahead, but it's the same kind of just
It's all connected.
Like you're holding someone's hand through a process.
Yes.
Yeah, I've named it in the weaning support group when they're just like, it's grief by mistake. I'm like, yeah, it's not, because I think people think it should be only grief if someone's dying. Yeah, I stalked Nurse Family Partnership the whole of while I was working at Jefferson, like working on oncology. I also had my son, because I worked for a couple of, I started working in 2010, had him in 2012. And so it was like, just kind of made more sense to stay at the hospital.
Yeah.
Shift work wise and like childcare wise, than doing like a full-time job.
Tricky when your own
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I like interviewed 3 different times for Nurse Family Partnership, and they were moving like locations, and it just like wasn't, and maybe it's just hindsight, but it wasn't the right time until like So when he turned, so I started in 2014. So he was like almost 2. Yeah. The on-call life with dueling, it has to work with your community, your partner, your whatever. Like it's a whole thing. It's like a whole family commitment. Yeah. I'm not trying to blame my husband for me not being a doula, but like, I think there's parts of me that didn't even consider certain things. So it was like, this would just not. I'm in the middle of a 20 episode podcast on, it's a couples therapy. It's a woman doing couples therapy with this couple for 20 sessions. They have twins and an older kid. Like, yeah. And
you're hearing like firsthand what they're
but she's unpacking these layers that are like very common dynamics in relationships. Very helpful. It's very interesting. Just like things that seem so mundane, and then she unpacks layer after layer of the emotional layers of it. And you can think you're just talking, I think you're talking about the laundry, but it's like layers,
layers, right?
Yeah.
And I love to talk to people.
I love it. I mean, that's my whole job, right? It's like showing up to people and talking.
You were a nurse. You were in the oncology field.
Yeah.
And then,
but I had this Nurse Family Partnership like on my radar the whole time. I was kind of like waiting for the moment that it would feel right to do it. So it's a home visiting program for first time like WIC income-ish parents in Philadelphia. It's all over the country. It was started in Denver, but the Philly location has been since 2000, I think. And we basically, the goals of the program are to have the parents get ready for childbirth, understand child development, parent-child bonding, and life course development. So like finishing high school, achieving their whatever, job stability and housing and all that. So there's a heavy social work, social determinants of health, all of that. Yeah. Very client-centered, very like client is the expert on their own life. Only a small change is necessary. These are like the mottos. So I've just loved it because I can totally get behind from top down, the whole theory behind it, everything. Like it doesn't feel, it feels really, I feel really genuine. Exactly. And the work environment, being a working mom with my husband, not really being able to do pick up or drop up, etc. It's like supportive of working parents. So I feel like I hit the jackpot of jobs as a nurse. So I love it. And so obviously there's lactation work in that because we're getting them when they're pregnant and, educating and and so in 2015, we got a grant. One of the supervisors at the time was an IBCLC, and she got a grant. And part of the grant was doing some stuff for the families, but also for the nurses to become IBCLCs or like further their training. So I jumped on that with some other people. So that's how I wasn't really but I was like, I think lactation just hits so many of my passions and like food sovereignty almost, like it is. It's like the first kind of food sovereignty. Body autonomy, kind of self-determination, kind of anti-capitalist a lot. And I think we can say this all with being fully supportive of parents who are formula feeding. And we started Latch Cafe, which we still have, which is Latch Cafe. I have to say it's our lactation support group through Nurse Family Partnership. Okay. So we started it way back when we were in a different office, pandemic lockdown. I did a lot of embarrassing Instagramming. I'll send you the site. And now we've revived it. So we just had a World Breastfeeding one. We have it every other Wednesday. So we started support group. We did different things. And then I started my side hustle like in 2018. I think. That's bringing me here today. Yeah. But there are like so many opportunities. I like multiple things come to mind because of kind of like the variety of the work I do, and helping everything from like a 10th grader, who's pregnant to, I don't know, a 40-year-old double career, whatever couple in my lactation, in that practice a little bit. So, we use motivational interviewing or try. It's a work in progress, but it's basically a way of helping people achieve goals or work through a change. Coming along, the method is like you're coming alongside them to kind of explore where their resistance is, and you're kind of hanging out with them in their resistance.
Okay.
Until, and almost maybe pushing like going along with it a little bit. And then you try to find the place where they're giving a hint where they're ready to move forward. So I think that's so ingrained, like, thankfully, in our practice with Nurse Family Partnership, that like it does lighten the load of these really tough situations. Like when your best friend says, like, break up with him, and you're like, okay, now I'm definitely not, because whatever, like anything, take anything, or someone tells you to do it, and then it's just like resistance. So always remembering people have various history of family traumas in life, and then social determinants of health of systems. And anyway, so keeping all of those things in my head definitely helps. These initial lactation situations are so burdened by all the anxiety and tears and like and feelings and goals and conflicting information, and and they're telling me 3 different things they saw on 3 different TikTok videos since last seeing me. And even yesterday, I felt like I was aware enough that this person was just, her anxiety was what was at the forefront, and I was facing her anxiety. It wasn't, and so sometimes it even feels like a barrier kind of that you're trying to, like, what's going on? It's easy to go in that spiral with them of like, okay, let me give you a schedule and I'll figure it out with you, instead of being like, okay, what's actually working for you? What's, it's so much therapeutic work. Sleep and mental health should always take priority in my mind in terms of lactation, but how much are you then, some people just need like a guiding hand, also to be like, you can, you got this. You can, like, that fine line between pushing and what kind of pushing are you doing? Are you pushing, like, are you being another person telling them to just suck it up and be tired? Or are you being like, no, the reality is this is tiring, and you can't, so I'm learning to not react to that. Like, can you tell me what to do? Or can you tell me the da-da-da-da? And like, cause I don't, like, I actually like really don't believe that you can have like a prescribed, and then having enough dialogue that you can figure out the care plan together is what I'm getting better at. It's a work in progress, but there's not a one size fits all situation at all. Within Nurse Family Partnership, there's a model where we have one-on-one supervision every week. So that's like within the program. So that's really wonderful. I started my Instagram account that's what I like the most. I mean, I scroll way more than I would like to, but I was on a creating streak probably back during lockdown. I don't enjoy the scrolling. I enjoy that I like, oh, new birth worker. Let's connect. I enjoy the connect part, and I think that's just kind of having a pulse, like you're doing with this, of like who's in the city, who can. It just makes you feel like there's a whole family. Yeah, like I really like that part of it. Like posting what I cook at night and I don't know, random. Cooking is definitely my grounding place. I can cook a peanut stew. Yeah. My husband cooks. Yeah, he likes to cook. I think it also is grounding for him, but I cook most weeknights just because of life. And then he'll sometimes cook a stew or something on the weekend, or do lamb. So we don't eat pork because he's Muslim. Otherwise we eat everything. So my kids are, I feel very lucky. They're pretty awesome eaters. I mean, the healthy dose of like, I don't want this vegetable right now, but like they're really like, they're very adventurous eaters and like love African food, and so I just got lucky in that department. I grew up vegetarian because my dad was vegetarian anyway. So I think I lean more vegetarian. Like I just don't like need but I think it was good for my iron, like, childbearing. And then when I met my husband, we just like my meat eating just like went. I cook every night. We have, we have basically family meal every night. I think it's hard. Yeah. We've had some different things where we can give out extra monetary assistance and extra food bucks. We have a CSA share out where my mom lives, a community supported agriculture farm share. So you pick up a bunch of vegetables every week, and it boils down to like way less than I would spend. But you have to just kind of take what vegetables they give you, And so I've gotten much better at like really utilizing all those vegetables. And I enjoy doing that. You know, I'm the mom at the pickup line being like, what do you guys do? Like, because I'm eating because I didn't pack myself a proper lunch today. So I'm starving. So I'm shameless about it. Yeah. But yeah, I just still love Nurse Family Partnership so much that I think the next 5 years, honestly, maybe more of the same, you know, I know my practice will change and grow in different ways. I've thought about making my turning leaves. That's the weaning support session that I do monthly. Turning leaves. Oh. Like, you know, turning them in, yeah. Changing leaves, turning the pages of the book, you know. My daughter's always like, do you have falling leaves tonight? Like, do you have falling leaves? I'm like, it's turning leaves. No, it's falling leaves. Like, whatever. She was the reason I started, so whatever. It's top of mind right now because I've got this 12-year-old who's doing pre-puberty and this 8-year-old who's it's approaching, you know. You would think I would have had a more kind of empowered body, whatever. Sex was like, don't get pregnant, and not talking much more about the pleasure part or about anything like that. I'm definitely trying to do that differently with my daughter and son. And, you know, starting from body part naming, like she says vulva without bringing, like she's making my husband say vulva. And my husband now says vulva. Yeah. What do I want? What feels good to me? Or not, you know, just what is going on? I feel like it's been in my 30s, like post having 2 babies and being in a relationship that finally I'm just getting a little more confident. Just honestly, like the shame part. My mom did not shame my body, but I think there's like this, like something's a little wrong with me, even though I don't like just that's the default. I'm trying so hard for that not to get in, and it still gets in. And I'm talking about my period in front of my son years ago, and like she's like, you're bad, or you're I'm like, Mom, these are not like bad words, and are like he knows everything. There's not bad words. Yeah. I mean, I weaned my daughter when she was almost 5, you know, and that I you know, as a lactation consultant, I don't think this gets talked about enough at all. Like I think it took 2 years after that for my hormones to finally find some kind of like regulation again. No, nothing. Like no, I mean it's just not talked about. I mean, I think the financial aspect of all of this is a constant tricky navigation of who has access to what additional support. You know, in lactation world, there's a lot, like if the baby has a tongue tie, or if there's body tightness, we're talking about body work, and we're, you know, it's just like a real reconciling, grappling place that is not reconciled to be perfectly, we're trying within Nurse Family Partnership with like all, as one of the IBCLCs, I'll go if another nurse has a family that's having extra lactation needs, I was just at one this morning, and we were kind of able to like, which is what I love about this program, we were able to kind of just like give that family more extra 2 people hands-on support to really talk through a reflux and mom's diet and all this stuff that just like they don't get it at their typical doctor appointment, and then there's not resources for them to also probably pay a nutritionist to so I think that's just like the elephant in the, you know, race and money and all of that. And I know my brain starts going like ding ding ding. Thank you, Katie. Thank you.